Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time, a Wave original presented by Prize Picks. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. It is Spencer Hall Friday. Spencer Hall from Channel 6. What's going on, man?
Hey, I like that there may be one person, because I was assuming a crowd there's somebody who doesn't know anything. Like one person who does not know anything.
Yes.
So they might know that it's usually Foxworth Friday.
Yes.
But then they see me. But this person not knowing anything, out of your hundreds of thousands of listeners, Bo, they would go, wow, that's Dominique Foxworth? That is not what I expected. And I could come on your show, and for that person, I could immediately begin making actionable threats on the part of Dominique Foxworth, right? I could be like, I carried Ed Reed all those years. I said it, me, Dominique Foxworth. Ray Lewis, I could take him in a fight. That's right, me, Dominique Foxworth, saying that I could fight Ray Lewis.
I wrote all his speeches. I'm actually Cyrano.
Yeah, that's me. I'm the magic behind the Ravens. Quote me, Dominique Foxworth. That's right, me. You know, and then give my Twitter handle, and then Dominique wakes up and he's like, "What did this man do to me?"
Like, when did I start carrying Champ Bailey? Like, how in the world? How in the world did that happen? I met Champ at the Hall of Fame. Not the Hall of Fame, the Super Bowl. I saw him there. And I have to say, Champ, Dominique speaks very highly of Champ, and I feel like everything he's saying is correct, because Champ, I don't know if he listens to The Right Time, but he listens to Foxworth Friday, and I'm like, that's a good friend right there.
That's absolutely right. I show up where you show up, right? That's, again, this is why he was a great teammate, Bo.
You know how good you have to be at whatever your thing is to be however old Champ is, which I feel like is a little bit older than me, and we're still calling you Champ. Like, to the point where people don't know what his actual name is. I believe it is Roland, and he got a brother named Boss.
My favorite thing when you chain names together is this, where you have 3 kids. Champ, Boss. Bo, do you know the name of the third Bailey brother?
I forgot the third. I remember it was something, though.
Well, we have a Champ and a Boss, so it's got to be outlandish, right? Nope.
Yes.
Rule of 3, Champ, Boss, and Ron.
Nothing stuck. What did they try? And they just all landed on Ron, right? Or at what point did Ron just say, look, I just want to be Ron?
Yeah. Just, no, guys, that's all extra. Just, I'm old Ron.
Or, is there a name that they call Ron at the crib that Ron did not want to come outside? Like, you're just not going to convince me that they call him Ron. If the other two are Champ and Boss, you're not going to convince me that they call him Ron at the house. They called him something else at the house, and he finally moved away where he could stop being whatever it is, Boo-Boo or whatever they decided to call him, and he could finally just go ahead and be Ron.
Yeah, and he's the one who has to come out and go, guys, if you could just call me Ron. I'm going by Ron now. Just call me that.
Yes. No. And the problem that happens for Ron is after Ron brings somebody to the house, you're not Ron anymore. Like, this happens with my brother. We call my brother by his middle name. He's one thing out there, but once you come to the crib for a little while, you ride with the middle name. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah. And then you got to be flexible enough. I feel bad for that because, like, I got one name, right? And generally, I would be, people are weird about their names. I would prefer to just be called Hey You. I don't, like the name of, I assume when somebody says my name, they want something.
Yes.
Like, hey, Spencer, nice to meet you. And I'm like, timeshare. You're about to sell me timeshare, about to ask for some money. You want something from me, right? But if you're a person who has multiple names, you got to be flexible in that. I feel bad for those people. I think that's a hard way to go through life.
Yeah, it is a situational. Like, I got Bo and Bomani, which on one hand feel very similar, but on the other hand, nobody calls me Bomani at the house. I'm Bo at the house. Like, you call me Bomani at the house, like something weird has happened. I don't know what's going on. But the problem is, for whatever reason, these 6 letters and 3 syllables, they be putting people in a tizzy, boy. They don't know what to do. So they skip straight to Bo. And I'm like, nah, player, you got to earn that. You got to get there. No way.
Don't get familiar. Internet gives this illusion that I know you and you know me. And I would like to disabuse you of that.
Yeah, I'm big on that. I realized that I started early in my career with the idea of using the internet to show people that I am like you and it's like you know me. And then that reached a point where it became unwieldy. And I decided to make sure at every turn I could to let you know you actually do not know me. And I need you to stop acting like you do.
Yeah, I had a guy the other day who. So I was involved in an internet fracas on Blue Sky. I understand you are not on Blue Sky.
Wait a minute, hold on.
I
didn't know that Freak Eye took place on Blue Sky.
Minor. So there's a word you don't use on your show, and I got called that word by somebody who, and I think they were mostly joking. This is like if I had to give you what it was, I'm like a 90-10 joke, 90% joke, 10%. I'm thinking about it anyway. There was one of these fast food graphics that was like, oh, which fast food do you not want? Right? It's kind of engagement bait, but whatever. It's fast food. It's fun. And I spoke disparagingly of a chain called Checkers. Checkers. Now, if you don't know, Checkers is I believe a Florida-based chain. I became familiar with it when I lived there by eating it 3 times in a row and never eating it again for the rest of my life. Because it was the only place that was near our apartment we lived in while we were waiting for our house. The Checkers conundrum to me is this, that you can eat it and it tastes okay, and then about 5 minutes later you want to die.
Tell me about your neighborhood, sir, because I've never seen a Checkers.
This was a Checkers in the parking lot of a Publix, US 19. So it was probably the most Floridian place in the world is the Checkers that is in the Publix on US 19 in northern Pinellas County, which if you don't know US 19, it's like New Jersey, but hot. Okay. Like 20-lane highway that's not a 20-lane highway that's residential somehow. And occasionally, when in my day, had ladies in thongs selling hot dogs on the side of it.
Oh.
Yeah. To get to my house, I had to tell people to turn right at the phone sex line billboard. That was where I went. This was not a sketchy neighborhood. This is just how things were zoned in Florida. I didn't know they put Checkers in unsketchy neighborhoods. I had no idea. No, big phone sex billboard, turn right at that. And then my house was about like a quarter mile down on the left. That was it. Okay. Had a fountain in front of it and everything. Right. But yeah, that kind of neighborhood. So I ate Checkers and I disparaged Checkers on the internet. I made a mistake, Bo, because somebody said, be careful, calling me this word that I definitely can't say on your show and that you usually don't. And, or you'll end up on a t-shirt because I disrespected Checkers. If you're listening to this, by the way, ending up on a t-shirt, I assumed, by the way, everyone knew what that meant. Another thing where 2 Americas, you gotta crack out. Ending up on a t-shirt, there are people in the audience, again, same people who might not know anything, right? So I'm talking to you, me, Spencer Hall, not Dominique Foxworth, right? They said that I would end up on a t-shirt. A lot of people don't know. They'd be like, oh, you end up on a t-shirt. That's probably good, right? That's a memorial t-shirt. That's the kind of t-shirt that at traditionally African-American funerals is an indicator of a tribute to this person.
You ever seen the video for Slow Motion? The Juvenile and the late Soulja Slim?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was where I was put hypothetically by somebody who was that honked off at me talking mess about Checkers.
Yo, and it's funny because I was thinking you might end up on a t-shirt going to Checkers. Like that's a
possibility.
That was my thought. Let me tell you something interesting also about that word that you described. And by the way, Spencer and I are like, what are we going to talk about on this show? And suddenly it all comes together. I was in mi lección con mi profesora de español.
Sí.
Ella me dijo una historia sobre el presidente de Argentina y criptomoneda.
Oh, el funny money. Yeah.
Oh, sí. ¿Tú sabes la historia?
Sí.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know this story, the president of Argentina came out and told his whole country, and just in case you think we're the only crazy people in the world, he came out and told his whole country to buy a meme coin and that the value of this meme coin was going to go way up. He told them to do that, and this is going to shock you. But after saying that, the value of said coin skyrocketed as people bought it. And then suddenly crashed to the ground.
Yeah.
Now, those of you who are familiar with that world know the term, and those who are not, it's called a rug pull. And basically what you should assume is anytime somebody says, hey, we got a new coin out here, they're going to get money in that coin, and then they're going to sell all that they have in said coin, and then the value of the coin is going to plummet.
Yep.
This is what happened in Argentina. And as you might expect, la gente no es feliz sobre el presidente. Okay? They're not pleased with the president. So, as I was getting ready to record this show, I see a story, a dude named Tommy Viator, I think that's his name. Anyway, he linked to something from CoinDesk. They got text messages from the creator of the funny money. And he is explaining how, basically what was going on here and why he would be cool. This is the text from CoinDesk. In text messages reviewed by CoinDesk, Hayden, Hayden, just so we're clear, CEO of Kelsier Ventures, claimed he could, quote, control Milei, who's the president of Argentina, because of payments he had been making to Karina Milei, a powerful figure in Milei's government, not to mention the president's sister. Quote from the text message, I control that N-word. I send money to his sister and he signs whatever I say and does what I want. Yes. And if you know anything about Argentina, they don't even got black people on the soccer team. So I Googled up a picture of the president of Argentina, and guess what? He is as white as this cup I'm sipping tea from.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked up the president of the creator of the coin, the guy Hayden, and I mean, I knew where that was going, but he was at once did not look at all like a Hayden, but was also even whiter than I expected.
Couple things here. One, you should know that this guy is a libertarian. Okay.
Yes.
I understand and respect libertarianism as an impulse, but as a philosophy, when somebody says, we would like to unleash the power of the market, spread your cheeks. That's what that means. Like, what I want to say to the people of Argentina is, un libertariano? Con delito? No. Crime? That's what libertarianism. That's like, hey, guys, crime? Is it really so bad? Yeah, that's what it is. What I'd like to do is unleash the power of the market. You're like, where's my purse? Where's my wallet?
This should tell you everything you need to know about that. I had this thought about like Adam Smith, The Wealth of Nations, right? And for those of you who are unfamiliar, The Wealth of Nations is like a foundational text in economics that, by the way, it's hard to find people who have actually read. We just discuss it in the place that it took in history and where it spread out. It kind of lays the foundation for the way most modern, we'll say, Western economists have thought for a while, right? And the argument, and it's a supporting argument for libertarianism and everybody else who's on the market will take care of it, is the idea that there will be an invisible hand that will guide allocations into the right places and everything will settle into some sort of equilibrium, basically. And I don't know why. It wasn't until like a couple of years ago that it dawned on me what the invisible hand was. Let go and let God. Like when you don't have an answer for how this thing is supposed to work, you just let go and let God. Like they couldn't say, though, don't worry, God will take care of it, because that sounds too much like a con. But you call it the invisible hand and people are like, hold on. Hear them out.
Yeah. Now, let me tell you why you shouldn't let anyone do this, okay? A second reason. Because, I don't know, maybe we get in a philosophical discussion, a disagreement about this. That's fine. I want you to pass the eye test. Go pull over if you're in the car right now, okay? Just go find a nice, safe space. I don't want you to do this while you're driving. If you're sitting at home, I want you to either open your phone or open a new tab while you're listening to this, okay? Go Google what the president of Argentina looks like.
Yes.
And then I want you to ask yourself, who would give this man money?
Hold on. And call him the N-word.
Yeah. Look at him. Look at those sideburns. That's not a trustworthy individual. That's a guy who in an X-Men movie is trying to get a satellite that's going to destroy the world. That's what that guy looks like. Y'all elected him. You knew what he looked like, and you did that anyway. I'm an American. I can say that because we just did it too.
Yes, and by the way, speaking of that, and what they have in common, he looks like the guy that will sell you a meme coin, which, by the way, our president and his wife have done. A colleague of ours got hacked, and it appeared that she was pushing a meme coin. And buddy, I was in a real tough place there because I didn't know what was going on.
Did you have to clarify?
I didn't know what to ask. I didn't know what to do, but I was just like, I hope I don't know the last time I believed that somebody was hacked, but I was rooting for it. And I believe that hacking is what took place because I needed to believe it. No decent person is trying to sell you a meme coin at this point. Not a single one.
I was trying to think of like how I know you would be hacked. Like if I looked like, I was hacked if it was like, hey man, y'all need to go listen to this Bob Dylan record. That's a sign that I have been kidnapped.
Yes. Oh, okay. There's a few for me.
Yeah.
I have been hacked if I am telling you got to go hear that new Drake.
Yeah.
I've been hacked if I'm saying that I hope that they make Stringer Mandela the new James Bond. I've been rooting for racism against that for the longest, and if he gets it, I'm gonna be rooting for the commies. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been there. I think those are two big ones.
I'm with you. I'm with you. If I'm extolling the virtues of a Drake song, I've been in the car with you playing a Drake song, and what do I do the minute he goes on? That's skip, right?
Yep.
You let Rick Ross do his verse, and then you immediately skip.
I have seen this. I've literally seen this happen before.
Yeah, like You Only Live Twice, right? Like that's like great song until Drake comes on. Usually, by the way, for comedic effect, I'll let him go. Yeah, like just to see when he starts, and then I'll skip it. Yeah, skip.
Speaking of hack, different kind of hack. Gets us to a sports place, a college sports place. This is where you live and reside and where I occasionally dabble. Carson Beck, who was the quarterback at Georgia, he will now be the quarterback at Miami. He went there in large part because those twin girls I got to be real about this. I am fascinated by how much these Cavender twins actually appear to care about basketball. Because there is no reason that they have to care about basketball at this point. If I held up a picture of them and told you that they were famous influencers, you'd never believe that basketball was their bag. But they're playing basketball at the University of Miami, and Carson Beck is dating one of them. And so he went down there to play. And first of all, I'd be so skeptical. I mean, I've seen some Miami people get mad at me about this. I can't tell you how skeptical I'd be of an NIL payment coming from Miami, because I would imagine that it might be in Funny Money, funded by Funny Money. The guy that was
a guy who looked like the president of Argentina sending me the money. Yeah,
that is correct. It wasn't the guy that was originally funding the whole operation. That Ruiz dude, didn't he get popped for something, or at the very least ensnared in something?
He was involved. John Ruiz was involved in a shares worth this much, shares actually worth this much situation, right?
Did it involve a hospital?
I do not know about the hospital.
Okay.
That may be a secondary story. The one that I can call to mind off the top of my head is valuations of company being X when in fact they were Y, and Y was significantly less than X.
Hold on. Headline, quote, substantial doubt, unquote, over company of Miami booster, John Ruiz. And I've told people this before. Okay, this is what it was. The company is called Life Wallet. It was a large-scale medical claims company. So yes. I was a very Miami story, and nothing. The Sunday Miami Herald has the potential to be the most amazing collection of stories that you have ever heard on. And that's what I learned in 4 years of living there. It's like Billy Corbin, Billy Corbin. Billy Corbin's got the easiest job in the world. Go pick up a random Miami Herald from any year between 1975 and now, and there's a documentary right there waiting on you. I promise.
That's another sign, by the way, that you should immediately exit the room is when somebody says a medical billing company in Florida. Walk out. You don't want to hear anything. I have a client. Okay, so I get these stories a lot about South Florida from a friend of mine who is an attorney down there. And he had someone walk into his father's office. His father was also an attorney before him. And he walked into the office with this suitcase full of cash. I mean, a cartoon suitcase full of cash. And the guy walks in cold to the law office, walks past the secretary, goes to the guy's desk, puts down the briefcase and says, It's $400,000. This is in the 80s. He goes, there's $400,000 in this briefcase. And the attorney goes, stop, turn around, walk out of my office. Because that's just how Florida is. You're like, I don't want, this is an episode of Breaking Bad. And I don't want to be the dead lawyer at the end. You need to walk out of my office. That happens all the time. You were the first person to tell me this Carson Beck story, by the way.
Yes.
So you got the joy of watching my face.
Yes. So we have to now give this to other people.
Mm-hmm.
This is where college sports are. Overnight, Carson Beck and his girlfriend had 3 cars parked at their home. All of them stolen. Cavender's SUV, they found that. However, Beck's cars, the Lamborghini and the Mercedes, still out there, still waiting to be found. And Spencer, he's not even good.
Why didn't you have them in a garage? If I have a Lamb, you're rich. Yeah. Now I know why. Because you're what, 22?
Yes, there's the
That's
answer.
why. Yeah. Obviously, it's a car. I can leave it outside. It's a Lamborghini, sir. You need to put that inside because you know who else is looking for it? Everyone else.
But my guess is they still want to live where college students live, which is typically places that don't have garages because they're college students.
Yeah, or worse, you know what's in the garage? They're like, well, we got the beer pong table set up in the garage and I don't want to move it. So I'll just keep the Lambo outside.
Well, they must have been gone, right? Like, I need to know more about how somebody, and it must have been a ring of people that can steal 3 of your cars.
Yeah.
3 of you, 3 without, like, do you not have alarms? I have so many questions about how, or was it these, you seen this, that they popped these Chilean dudes? Apparently it was a whole Chilean gang that was out here robbing these athletes all across the country. I did not know Chile was getting down like this, but it leaves lots of questions. But this ring of Chileans got Joe Burrow, got Bobby Portis, you name them, those cats that was getting robbed. Apparently this ring of Chileans was there. Did they like get up on Carson Load and think it's gonna be Carson Beck and thought they had found the mother lode?
I have a dangerous suggestion for how they got those cars, Bo. The keys were in them. The fob was in them. That's my first guess as to how they stole those cars. Because, again, how old? 22? 23? Oh, I'll just leave it in there. It'll be fine. Who will steal a Lamborghini in Miami? That's the other thing. Stealing a Lamborghini in Miami? Awesome idea. You know why? How you going to notice it?
Right.
How you going to notice it? There's 2 kinds of cars in Miami. One, it's an Altima with the bumper half fallen off and a Miami-Dade Community College bumper sticker on it. That's the first kind of car in Miami. The second kind of car in Miami is the Lamborghini. That's it. You get one or the other. You're just assigned it. Okay? Who's going to notice? It's one of the few places where you could steal a Lamborghini and it wouldn't be, well, we can obviously find it, right? Like, okay, you go to Kansas State. Let's say there's some big corn billionaire, okay, who's just throwing NIL money around at Kansas State. Some guy who's in beef, who's like, yeah, I'll give you a Lamborghini. You know how many Lamborghinis there are in Manhattan, Kansas? Like 3.
Right? Like that's how I am when I go back to North Carolina and I see somebody pushing a car like that. If you give me just a minute, I can whittle it down and figure out who this is. It won't take me that long.
Yeah, you can do that. In Miami, you know how many people have Lamborghinis? Everyone. There's tons of them because we've discussed this before. There's 2 kinds of people in Miami. Regular people and the people who don't have jobs, right? What do you do? One of the most interesting questions you can ask somebody from Miami. What do you do? Yeah, I got like 8 jobs. How many of them are real? What do you really do?
Like, what do you do? You need to add the important last 3 words, for a living.
For a
Because what do
living.
I do? I mean, I do this.
I do a lot of different things.
I do things. Things. But I have to admit, and maybe I'm old, I do find it a little bit distasteful that a not even good quarterback is out here pushing cars like this. I don't know if I find it distasteful. I don't know if that's the appropriate term, but my mind is absolutely blown. And see, this is the one thing I would say, that there's like 2 worlds, I think, of people receiving NIL money. Because number one, I think there's a lot of dudes who are getting this money and all that money's going back to the crib. Because you and I both, well, I don't know, you went to a slightly different school than I did.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people, and I don't think people I don't think people who grew up like I grew up, which is to say fairly well, have a great idea of how many people at that age range are getting money and sending it back home, right? Like I think there's a lot of people whose
pretty
NIL
solid
money.
number, yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty high number, and all that money is going back, right? It's like the people who now currently pay their parents' bills. Like if you don't have to do this, you don't realize how many people are actually like living that life and constantly sending that money back. But then there's number two, people whose parents don't need any money from them. And those people are going to do what people that age typically do, regardless of what sum of money you give them. You give them $5, you give them $500, you give them $5,000, you give them $50,000. You know what they're going to do? Spend every dime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and not pay their taxes. This is the Shaq lesson, right? Shaq's famous lesson. Well, I bought a car for my mom. Then I bought a car for my dad. Then I bought a car for me. And then the IRS called, right? And that's why he will sell anything. Right? Because he spent his whole signing bonus and then went, oh no, I have no money.
Yes.
Beck is interesting because I think this is indicative. I know a lot of people are going to go, wow, well, this is just NIL, the players, I can't believe. Okay, that's cool. What you're looking at is something position specific because we never give up on quarterbacks. And I think that's actually a good thing. Okay. Because don't think of it as college football. This is a semi-pro team that is now shelling out for the most important position. There was a team in Florida last year that had a price point and they were trying to decide what their pain point was, right? On that price point. They go, oh, I don't know. Do we pay for it? Do we give Cam Ward money or do we give DJ Uiagalelei way less money and we'll be fine. We'll make it work. Florida State went 2-10 because they cheaped out on a quarterback. That's the truth. Okay. They could have dug around in some couch cushions. They could have mortgaged a few cigarette farms or whatever Florida State people get wealthy off of. They could have done that and they didn't. And that's why they were 2-10. It is painfully clear that is why they were 2-10. They had other problems, but the main problem was a lack of productivity at quarterback. Where did that production go? The University of Miami. They invested the money. They took Cam Ward, and Cam Ward was phenomenal last year and had the best season in the history of University of Miami football. Go back and look at their quarterbacks. That is a significant statement. We don't give up on quarterbacks in the college level because they might turn out to be good in the right situation. They really might. And Beck has had flashes. Go back and watch the Tennessee game last year. Beck had a terrible season and he pressed. He kept pressing and he threw picks and he felt like he wasn't doing too much and he clearly wasn't comfortable and didn't have the easy answers they had the year before. Remember that the year before they had Brock Bowers and they had Ladd McConkey, who, by the way, it turns out are both really good NFL players.
Beasts.
Monsters, right? Like we went from that white guy's really fast to holy crap, these are amazing football players. He didn't have those easy answers, and go back and watch the Tennessee game. He still nails. He's phenomenal, and he could be that for a full season, and that would be worth whatever price you're paying alone. That's what we do in the pros now, which I think is good. We used to say, "Oh, guy's a bust, cut him loose." No, let him hang around. Let him become a Geno Smith. Let him have a Sam Darnold season. Quarterback's hard. Quarterbacks hard. So it's very funny, by the way, that he got his car stolen. Okay, I'm not going to stop laughing about that because, again, I'm convinced the keys were in it. And I say that out of sympathy because that's what I would have done as a 22-year-old with more money than I could count, a partially formed frontal lobe, and a Lamborghini sitting in the driveway. That's what I would have done.
Well, I tell you what this makes me realize as we go to the break. The NIL era is also going to lead to a much more robust Second Amendment era in college sports. I don't know if this would have worked for Carson Beck or whatever, but I tell you this, where I'm from in the great state of Texas, you might have got one of them cars, but somebody would have got shot before you got to the third, maybe the second.
We're going to end up talking about Clyde Edwards-Helaire again, aren't we?
Oh, boy. Yeah. We'll be back with more in a moment. The NFL season is officially over, but the NBA is only heating up, which means you could turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite teams only on Prize Picks. You can make a Prize Picks lineup with NBA or even college basketball in as little as 60 seconds. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 fantasy sports app. But rather than hearing it from me, let's hear from an expert picker. Sean, how the picks been going?
I believe I'm an expert picker in losing because this month has not been the best. But, for all my picks now, I can focus solely on hoops. And with the flex play, I can still cash out if my lineup isn't perfect. I can make picks with LeBron James and Luka Doncic, the new teammates, or, maybe not on Anthony Davis. But I can make enough picks to get by. But make sure you stick around for the end of each show to hear my upcoming picks. And if you know me, I'm always picking more.
There we go. So make sure you go to prizepicks.com/Bomani and use code Bomani for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/Bomani. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. We often hear about the red flags we should avoid, but what if we focus more on looking for green flags in friends and partners? Sean, what are some green flags in your relationship?
Well, for me, Bo, I think a big green flag with my partner is that we're good at giving each other space when we need it. Plus, being in any relationship with someone you enjoy being around, I think is just a simple one. And look, if you're not sure what they look like, therapy can help you identify green flags. You can actively practice them in your relationships and embody the green flag energy yourself. Whether you're dating, married, building a friendship, or just working on yourself, it's time to form relationships that love you back.
If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit BetterHelp.com/Bomani today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Bomani. All right, we're back on the right time with Spencer Hall. And if you don't know, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he had a very Clyde situation when he was at LSU. And to be clear, he has stated that's why he took this kind of leave of absence, because he has been carrying the baggage from this. But
I don't think that was fun for him.
No, it was not fun for him at all. But somebody tried to rob him and he smoked him. It was like, I think he was going to buy some electronics with somebody that he came across on Craigslist or something like that. And they tried to get him and he was ready. And like the reports from the police were, it's never been a clearer case of self-defense that I have ever seen. Right. But
Witnesses,
it was it was one thing when we thought these dudes might have a lot of money. Now that people know they got bread, know them, and a lot of these cats, man, they get to school not too far removed from whatever environs they started in. So either A, they're woefully naive, or B, they might be kicking it some places that they used to kick it before that you stopped kicking it once you got some money in your pocket. This is gonna be something.
That's a lesson that professional athletes have a difficult time really processing. And I think that's going to be much harder at the college level, because the younger you are, the harder it is to learn something. And there's no worse way to learn something than by having to crash the car, by having to run headlong into it, right? I'd rather that not happen. It is also strange to me this. I wonder how many of them are just going to end up completely borked on their taxes. Like how many people are going to end up in a real bad spot with the feds, which again, at the last couple of weeks, maybe enforcement's going to be a little laxer than we're used to.
That's right. They fired everybody at the IRS.
Attention, student athletes with poor bookkeeping skills. You might have caught a break for a minute. Okay, so get them straight is what I'm saying, because I know that's not going to be the case forever. So take that time, get it straight. Got a couple of years probably to get everything lined up. Go do that.
Hey man, some program. This is all right. So this is actually something that gets controversial when you start talking about college sports. And I think that people look at it the wrong way. But correct me if I'm wrong, but every lawyer or every law firm has got to do like some amount of pro bono work. Like that's just part of what it is. And so there's always a firm who does this pro bono work on behalf of the local college football program.
Yeah.
And so there will be the guy who represents every athlete when they get in trouble. And my belief had always been, if you're not going to get these boys no money, which, by the way, the revenue sharing is coming, but up until now, that programs have not actually done. They've gone and got some money, but the programs haven't given them money. Anyway, I've always felt like the least you could do is help them out with a lawyer when they get in trouble. Like this idea that these guys don't deserve the best lawyer that they could get is decidedly un-American, right? It is un-American by definition. If you can help them get a lawyer, if you got a friend, you should help them get the best lawyer that they can get. Okay, cool. They do that. I do not think that there is a same code for accountants, but there should absolutely be some accountant in town who says, look, I'll give you guys a discounted rate or whatever, but I swear I'll do all of your taxes and I will be advertised as the tax man for the area or whatever it is. Because you and I both have spent time in our lives being freelance writers.
Mm-hmm.
And just
the
about
accounting gets squirrely.
Well,
Slippery?
what gets whirly about the accounting is nobody explains any of this stuff to you. And so if you, like when I worked at Fuddruckers, they took taxes out of my check.
Easy.
Cool. When I started doing this other writing, they did not take taxes out of my check, which for a period of time I mistakenly believed was because they didn't take taxes out of this kind of money.
Falling out of control.
Because of course they would. And then it's like, what you mean? What you mean?
Every dollar I've got is a dollar. Neat.
Right.
It's a whole dollar.
And then after that, you realize, oh, I have to do this myself. I got you. But you can't necessarily afford to live on this take the taxes out money. And so, you make some accommodations or whatever it is. All of that is to say, young people don't understand the magnitude of taxes. They just don't. And this is going to happen to a few people.
Yeah,
the program should totally be looking out for them, but I doubt that they will.
And if you want to know when you're going to see stories that emerge from this great adjustment, trend up, tick up, put a little reminder on your calendar. Revenue sharing starts this summer. Okay, get June, July. That's when I believe all of that money is going to start to kick in. And that's when you might get some interesting stories of young people learning lessons the hard way. Which, by the way, I just want to say, this is paternalistic only in its concern, not in its prescriptions. What I am saying is I am worried for you because these are problems I have had with far less money. Yes. You are going to receive far more money, and your problems, per the Biggie Smalls corollary, will be bigger.
Yes,
with more money, additional problems.
Yes, this is not concern trolling.
No,
I have been saying this from the very beginning that these young men and women deserve the opportunity to make bad decisions with this money. But please understand, bad decisions are on the way. I'm trying to imagine if I'm any insurance company, I wish a 21-year-old would ask me to give them a policy on a Lamborghini. Are you kidding me? Like when Bijan Robinson was at Texas and he had to deal with the Lamborghini company. I'm like, are you people crazy? You're giving a Lamborghini to a 21-year-old? What are you, high?
To put it in a slightly different context, I want you to imagine the insurance implications and potential safety concerns for the SEC lineman or the Big Ten lineman, a tackle, somebody or a guard, right? Who's definitely got some six-figure bonus money coming in, and they go, I should have paid my taxes, but I bought a $28,000 side-by-side with neon lights on it. Like, somebody's going to do that too. And they're going to drive it around campus. I can't wait to see that. That's going to be phenomenal.
And they're going to buy some really expensive guns. And that's the white boys are going to buy the most expensive guns, right? Like that's going to take on a whole different life and situation, right?
I didn't know that you could buy a sniper rifle, but he has one.
Yes.
He's got a 50 cal in his apartment. Why do we have this gorgeous vintage Italian Mossberg shotgun, right? Why do we have this here? Because NIL, buddy.
Yeah. No.
It's my money. I can do what I want with it.
Yeah, we're giving a lot of money to the dumbest people in the world. In fact, what's problem is that they're not the dumbest people in the world, because the dumbest people in the world might ask for some advice. They're just smart enough to make the dumbest decisions when you factor in the raw level of dumbness and multiply it by the magnitude of the money itself.
Yeah, and the scrutiny and also nothing worse than people egging you on. That's the thing. By the way, Mossberg's an American. They're an American firm. So
really?
Before some pedant gets after me.
I love that you saw it coming and double checked it in real time.
This is the thing with working on the internet is you're like, there's always somebody who doesn't know anything, and there's always somebody who goes, he said Mossberg, I'm gonna make a point of that. Okay.
I had figured that Winchester and Remington had the American rifle market on lock, but the Mossberg that's the shotgun, right?
Correct. That's what they specialize in. Yeah.
Got it.
Which also makes for an excellent rhyme in a rap verse, right?
Yes, it does. Rest in peace to the rapper Mossberg, by the way. I will also say I always feel like I'm not believing you when you start talking about your shotgun, and that's a self-offense weapon. I don't think of the shotgun as a self-defense weapon. That is offense.
Well, like if I see you with another type of firearm, I might think, oh, that's for show, right? But if I see someone with a shotgun, I'm like, oh, they want to shoot somebody. Personally,
not only do they want to shoot them, even if they miss, the old bar little line, even if I miss, I can't miss. You feel me? Like that's the whole point of the shotgun. The shotgun is a killing machine.
Well, shotgun. Well, not even. It's a hurting machine.
Yes,
it implies that I'm real mad, and I know y'all are over there, and I want y'all gone. So I'm just gonna, like it's very much I know Randy's down there somewhere pass, right? Just I'm throwing a bunch of stuff that way. There's a unique indiscriminate spite to a shotgun that I respect.
I think you may find this interesting, and I think I may know why it is that you thought that Mossberg was perhaps an international company. Mossberg is spelled Mossberg, but when I Googled it, I Googled Mausberg because I did think that was how it was spelled. And the reason I thought that was how it was spelled is because that is how the rapper Mossberg, rest in peace, spelled his name. And that is that he has the all-time classic song, Get Naked. You may have heard Get Naked. It's West Coast joint. Dun, 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 Get Naked. That's him. And so the MAUS had me thinking Germany. That's great question. Great question. You gotta tease it out to figure out what it is. Yeah, Get Naked. There's that one run of rap, like the 3 6 Mafia is the best at this, where the title tells you exactly what the song is about. Tear the club up. It's about exactly what you think it is. Let's plan a robbery. Guess what they're doing?
This is the one thing that Billy Joel and 3 6 Mafia have in common with each other. And it's that what you see on the label is what the song is about. Piano Man, it's about a guy who plays piano, right? Tell Her About It is about how you should tell her about it. Billy Joel has zero metaphor, simile. Those are for the weak. He's going to tell you exactly what the song is about.
Although he did have the one song, Only the Good Die Young, that I hit you with one day when I realized that it is the same song as Gimme That by Webby. Come on, Virginia, don't make me wait. You Catholic girls are much too late.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Sure. It's also like that song. Billy Joel's got some extremely wrong songs when you go, you sound like an extremely toxic person. And then you realize he was famous in the late 70s and early 80s and dated a bunch of supermodels.
Yo, let me tell you something, brother. If I could sing, it'd be a rap or play an instrument just a little bit. And he did both. Like Billy Joel with Christy Brinkley is the precursor to Lyle Lovett with Julia Roberts. And I don't think we've had anyone since then. Well, there was that little period of time that Jermaine Dupri was with Janet Jackson. That was on the same list. Had to bring that around so everybody understood the references that we were making here. But Billy Joel and Chrissy Brinkley, I feel like it's kind of the OG of the art.
I think Linda Evangelista is in there before.
Yeah.
This is, and go look at a picture again. We're asking you to look up a lot of pictures here, okay? But go look up Billy Joel. There's a discrepancy there. If you can sing, you can write a lot of checks, Daddy.
Yeah. The video messed it up. Like the idea of the video messed it up for a lot of these cats, but especially before then, when all you had to do was be able to say, man, I still feel like even in that video era, you might not become the most famous person in the world, or you might not get a record deal, but in actual application of your life, you can greatly improve your chances at what to do if you can sing.
Great moments in Short King history for Jermaine Dupri, by the way. That's it. Like respect. Like when our Short Kings wake up in the morning and they're like, what am I accomplishing today? What are my hopes? They can put that on the wall, right? As a poster.
And he blew it.
Today's the day.
And he blew it. And he blew it. And he had the end. The end was, I know what it's like to be a child star.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Janet Jackson's favorite thing, she married some member of like the extremely wealthy, like Middle Eastern upper class. Do you remember when her like, I believe their prenup specified a specific date for her share to kick in, and she filed for divorce the day after. Like it was like the 27th, and on the 28th she was like, today's the day. Did it.
I wasn't sure which membership you were going to discuss, that particular gentleman, or of course the member of DeBarge that made her daddy go, oh hell no. No. And for those who don't like fully get how this goes with DeBarge and as it would relate to Joe Jackson, who would certainly know trouble when he saw it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Barry Gordy and Motown, they had the Jackson 5. They rolled that out. They deal ended. They went to CBS, all of that stuff, right? Jermaine Jackson married Barry Gordy's daughter. He stuck around. The rest of them left. Yeah. All this cool or whatever. Okay. He later had good reason to think that he had found the new Jacksons, which were these boys, and the Jacksons were from Gary, Indiana. Found these boys from Grand Rapids, Michigan, called DeBarge. And DeBarge, there's a lot of raw talent in DeBarge. And L. DeBarge gives you a lot of young Michael Jackson vibes in terms of voice talent, all of this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. One
small issue. Them boys was thugging. I don't know. I think thugging is the best broad term that I could use in this. I can only imagine the stress they were causing Barry Gordy, the calls that Barry Gordy was getting about what it is that the boys was doing. And so the new Jacksons, and Joe Jackson had to be fully aware of the fact that these are the new Jacksons. And James DeBarge, one of these new Jacksons, married his little girl. And they got that thing annulled. Forget about divorce. They got that thing annulled.
Never happened. Nullified, negated, right?
Never, ever happened. They was like, oh no, we got to shut this down.
Mm-hmm. I love the visual, by the way. If you don't know, the fact that DeBarge were engaged in that many shenanigans, that much hoofera, that much tomfoolery.
Yes.
And they were with Barry Gordy. Barry Gordy, it's like, I was in the studio with Stevie Wonder, right? When he sang My Sherry and More. I watched Marvin Gaye hatch the beauty of his relationship with Tammy Terrell and watch the two of them work together, right? I have seen greatness. And here I am with these gelled up, pompadoured fools doing illicit drugs in the bathroom of my studio as they sing the most sweet harmonies. Like that's the funniest part about DeBarge is that DeBarge is like, yeah, man, we're going to go beat someone up and do coke in the bathroom. Hold on, I got to sing this song, right? And then they go in and sing Rhythm of the Night. They sing All This Love Is Waiting for You. My baby.
And don't forget, they had a sister who I believe was a little bit hell on wheels too.
It's entire family just doing too much.
No. They had
active
a lot of
people.
They had a lot going on, man. They had a lot going on at the midpoint between the Jackson 5 and DeBarge.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was Chico DeBarge, who was like the youngest of the DeBarges, who did a stint in jail for some charge related to narcotics, and then he got out and put out the jailiest record of all time. It could not have been jailier. There's a song on there called Virgin, for example. The first track after the intro is him catching up with a chick after he done got out of jail. It is all jail, full on jail.
If they'd been in the right place and they'd met the right distance running coach, Bo, we would have had a dynasty. You'd be like, the DeBarge family, they seem full of energy.
Yes.
How about we turn you into like marathoners? How about we get you to run a 10K? That's it. They're setting amazing times. First guy to break the 2-hour marathon, L. DeBarge. It's amazing.
Yes.
In another lifetime, we could have prevented all of this.
But alas, this is Spencer Hall, by the way. Check him out on Channel 6. Check him out. Which podcast are you doing now outside of the Shutdown Fullcast?
Right now, we're real simple. In the off season, we got the Shutdown Fullcast, which we're still doing, and doing the Channel 6 newsletter, where for $10 a month, we will give you 2 things. Just did the SEC Hot Mess Index, talking about how messy and successful, or messy and unsuccessful, your particular football program is. Looking at you, Ole Miss.
There we go, my brother. I appreciate you.
All
right, now, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on The Right Time. Hit the voicemail line, 323-596-7767. Tell us about that time you saw somebody start a fight they thought they wanted, but a fight they really did not want. 323-596-7767. That is our telephone number. Sean Yu handles everything behind the scenes. Thank you, sir. Remember, follow the right time. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. And we'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take it easy.